Hello, this video I'm recording for my friend Hope. She, like me, is a beginner trader, and as such, we sometimes face challenges to conquer. We need to go through phases of learning and get through it. Right now, the phase she's been at, and myself, am, is about context, trading inside a context, a defined context. We want to avoid to be inside a choppy market. We want to avoid regions where the price is not yet decided where to go. So we need to be out. We need to be out in the bad moments, but we need to be ready to get in the market in the right moment. So we need to know what to look for and what to find in the chart. So very important thing I've been learning. I don't say I'm great at it right now, but I have seen it bring me improvements. It is the following thing. Like if I trade in the 1 minute, 10 minutes in a small time frame, I must wait for the right moment. And who will give me this orientation is the bigger time frame. One thing I need to do is what I've been doing is to go to the 1 day time frame, and then I will surround the last day. I will mark the high and the low of the last day. Those will be very strong limits for today. Also, I'll go to the weeks, and I will mark the upper limit of the last week also, the current week too, if I'm so. Here it is, the limits of the current week, the last week, the limits of the current day, but the last day mostly importantly. So here we are. After this, beginning a day, we'll look where we have places where the market will stop. The market must stop and will stop in some places like this where there's liquidity. In this day, let's suppose this day didn't exist yet, it was today. Before the day of today, we would find for liquidity in the screen appear on these limits. This kind of limits are where the liquidity are, one of the places liquidity lives, so we should mark this, but we should mark this right before where we at. So I would look for it here. But if we are here today, this liquidity was already captured. So I would look for the last movement. The last movement will give me the direction and where the liquidity is. Here, there is liquidity here. Look, it stopped here in the 50. Look what happened today. It stopped here in these points of the Fibonacci. But we must be ready before it reaches it. And here we are seeing it from the day view. We are not seeing what's happening here because this is a long end of a day. We must go to smaller time frames and look for those stoppages of the price, those places it stopped and for a moment went after it. Here it is. Here we can see better view of liquidity. Look here, this is an extreme liquidity, so this will be important to us if we were not seeing this day. Look, the day went after this liquidity. So we go again going down in the time frames. Now 10 minutes. And then we come here. What do we see here? We see another liquidity place in this candle, the last candle before the big movement up. So here we put this and mark here and bring it all the way to the day. And here we see the day going after it and reacting. So from this we see that the price goes after liquidity to get strength to move. So in the beginning of the day, we should not be looking at the 1 minute here looking for entries. We should, before everything, go from far and make our marks. We did in the day, in the week, and then after that we will see the places where it's worth entering, and we will wait and look what happened. The previous day was broken down here and then reached the liquidity we marked, and then it tried to come back from that liquidity, and it stopped on the limit of the previous day, the lower limit of the previous day, and fought here, and then the buyers won. Look, they broke this upper this high, they broke this and came back to test, but in this test they didn't lose the bottom. They strike here, they stroke here, they made a attack here and lost the fight to the liquidity, and then they start the movement of the day, and look how much it ran a lot, a long distance. But the important thing was we would be waiting for the entry in those regions where there's liquidity. We could have sold here like I did. I did sell here because it has went down the lower limit of the last day, and when it came here to test, it broke this structure here and went here, and then I saw here opportunity to sell because the structure was pointing down. It did go down, but I didn't protect in 1R. I had to protect when it was here. It was my 1R, and I wouldn't lose, but I didn't protect in the 1R. And then it came and took my stop and showed what he wanted after that movement. Then when he showed he wanted to go up, I was already out for the day with a loss of 40 reais. And then he came back here and look again where I should have acted on the liquidity. I'm learning from my teacher this signal. This is a signal of entry. The price touched liquidity and gave me this signal. A touch on the liquidity, a candle negative, a positive candle, the third candle in the new direction, and then the rupture of the third candle. I should have bought here in this candle, and then I would be in the direction of winning. But I would only see this good opportunity by looking from far. But not only looking from far, but looking after liquidity on the chart. Liquidity. The thing I marked, those things are marked, are the liquidity. They are pools of liquidity, and they are confirmed by the good regions they are, that it's in the Fibonacci. And then here I had the place to look for entries, but the real entries would be with signs that it wouldn't go further in the down directions. Like here, it was going and making structure of going down, but after here, it broke this structure and didn't go down. Here was a good opportunity to trust in this distance, to put my stop and be in the entry. Or I could even wait for this better break of structure and look for entry here. Looking for entries here, I could again enter and protect, because here it would be an aggression against me again. But if I had, no, it was too much. But yes, I would enter here and protect myself here. And after this run, I would protect myself in the 0. But then again, when it would come back here, I would have all this movement, confirmation of this movement, this intention of go up. When it come here, I would be close to a smaller stop, and I'd be on top of the liquidity, and I'd have the direction. But again, all this would be in the small time frame. But I would wait to act in the small time frame after all the marks I did make. I make marks and I waited for them. All right, all we're seeing here were only here. All this was only the beginning of the day. This beginning of the day, the price would be on the limit of the previous day. It would be going close to this liquidity we marked, but we are not able to see it now. We are not able to see it because we're in the bigger time frame. But we were able to find it because we went down the time frames, so till we could see it. That's when I marked here, and then I went more down and was able to mark here, right? So we must use the bigger time frame to find liquidity and wait, and then we use the trigger in the smaller time frame to enter the position. That's what I've been learning, this new concept in me, and I think this is a very much needed thing because I've been struggling with this, with entering in choppy market. But this will be the cure. I'm in this phase. My friend, hope you're in this phase. So take a look, and I hope it helps also. But I know you need triggers for the entry, confirmations, filters. First, we'll have to find the context in the bigger time frame. Then we'll have to have filters. Should I enter? Should I not enter? Looking to the candles, looking to the small liquidity, looking to the small signals. If we don't have nothing against, we have things in favor of entering, then we'll look for and wait for the trigger. When we have the trigger, we'll enter, and then we'll bring the entry. Okay, right now I have 2 triggers, I know. One trigger is the small structure when it reaches the liquidity, and it breaks the structure. I'll wait for it to come here to test again, and here in Fibonacci I'll have the smaller stop and the confirmation of the direction, and I'll have this prospect of going up. And also, as I said, the 1, 2, 3 entry, going down, going down, going down, going down, one up or one up. One of these 3 must be up, and this must be the bigger one must be in the middle, and after the third I went through here when the fourth candle, the next candle, uh, catches the top of the third, and then this is a great trigger. We can see it here. One, two, 1, 2, 3. This is the new direction, and this is the rupture of the third, and it goes. So these two triggers are the final triggers I've been learning with my teacher, and I hope my teacher would speak English and you could learn from her. And wait, if I get good with all the things I learn with her, all I know I will try to pass to you, and we will be good at it. Okay, I'm happy to follow your journey. Wish you good journey, good learning. Be firm and protect yourself. We'll get there. Okay. Uh, Best regards, hugs, and all the best for the Aussies and you. See you soon, Hope. Take care. God bless.